Okay, is this fixed? Question mark? I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why it did something weird like that. Because before it doesn't do weird shits like that. And I'm not sure how to fix it, so I just restart the whole stream, and here we are. Wait, BRB. Interesting. Sorry, I'm checking some stuff right now. Interesting. Fascinating. That's a priceless contact. Yeah, I'm contacting a hospital right now just to check the availability of something. How? Come on. That is that. I think I assume it is. Let's see. I'm not sure who these people are. Okay, that's the name. I forget the name of the doctor. Here we go. Yeah. Hi. Okay. Yeah. It wasn't work. I don't know why it's not working. I was confused as well because it's usually just work, and I just restart my OBS and it works. So maybe just a bug in OBS for a little bit. And I'm just checking something here. Consultation? Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Wait. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. How do I contact? Okay, through that. Yes? No? Fine. There we go. I'm done. So we can continue back to everything, which should take care of everything. I think. Ethics. And I can go back to studying. I won't be around for long. I'm walloped. Got 2 weeks off. Will then that make you have more time to be around? Question mark? Oh, you mean, I guess, like right now, or I don't know. So wait, which one is this? Is this? Yeah, I think there's one. There we go. Let's see. I study until I get to the DEFCON part. DEFCON and the ethics of multiplayer games. Historically, single-player games are somewhat an anomaly. If we look at both digital and analog games in our culture, we will notice that a vast majority of them are, in one way or another, multiplayer. Really, I always thought that the majority of games are single-player games. Let's see the data actually. Single-player game versus multiplayer game number. I did notice that like a multiplayer game has been rising lately, but I'm not sure. Let's see. That's the frequency of people playing, but what's the number of the game that exists? That's preference. I cannot find any statistics that says. No, those are preference. Sorry, I haven't watched that thing you recommend yet. The conference. Cool. What do you mean? What? Chad Johnson, are you okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm reading a weird take. Multiplayer games are superior to single player ones. Okay, cool. Sure. Except, oh. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any statistic that exactly says the number of multiplayer games or single player games that got released. So, mhm. I can just find like statistic about the number of people who prefers to play. Let's see. Most people actually prefers to play single player games. So I'm not sure where Miguel get this, but I don't know. He's an industry professional or whatever it is. Well, we'll notice that a vast majority of them are, in one way or another, multiplayer. Single-player computer games are mostly the outcome of simulation possibilities of computer applied to the creation of semi-intelligent autonomous agents that can be used to wrap and enhance a particular mode of player interaction with the game world. Okay. Single-player games are somewhat anomaly? Question mark? Vast majority are multiplayer, sorry. Multiplayer. Question mark? I'm just like wondering like, is it true? Single player computer game I already read that. Multiplayer games, on the other hand, tend to fall short on the narrative or fictional side. Yeah, super true. It's I think the hardest thing to do right now is to make a scary multiplayer games because I I don't I think it's very hard to make a scary multiplayer games to be honest. Even if there were statistically more multiplayer games than single player, how would that be superiority? Bullshit. It's not Miguel talking about that. It was some other guy while I was searching Google. Miguel doesn't speak about the superiority of multiplayer or single player game. It was some other person writing an article in what do you call it, in Medium. Depending on the definition of game, you can generate potentially infinite amounts and skew the statistics. Uh, yeah, the definition of games are very wide, so you cannot really define what is and what isn't a game. So, but mostly it is agreeable that games, computer games, of course, are made in a digital. It needs computer power to be created. So yeah, that's at least the agreeable part. But it wasn't Miguel that says those stuff about superiority. It was some other people that I see online. I haven't read the article, so maybe I shouldn't judge, but the way it's being written, let's see. Superiority multiplayer over single player. Who write this? Multiplayer games are superior to single player ones. Let's see. Medium, okay. Is it fucking using AI image? Oh, ew, oh. One strike minus. Two strike minus. Ew, what the hell, dude? Okay. Mm-hmm. Online wars. Well, guess what? Multiplayer. What? The age-old debate that likely sparked more online wars than any political topic. Multiplayer versus single-player games. Guess what? Multiplayer wins. What? Right? I think you're just creating. I think you're just creating like random conflict to be mad of. I guess there's some people arguing about that, but I don't think it's an age-old debate that sparked more online wars than any political topic. Sure. Who write this? Ew. Social factor. Half the fun in gaming is the social interaction. Okay. Playing game alone might as well be the kid sitting alone in the cafeteria. Who wants to be? Yeah, this guy is writing it for rage bait. This guy is definitely writing it for rage bait. Playing alone is the one man echo chamber. You win, you lose, but there's no one there to share it. Kind of empty, isn't it? Huh? In a single player game, you're up against AI, predictable, boring AI. Multiplayer, throw all that out the window. You're playing against unpredictable, irrational, and sometimes overly aggressive human being. But have you considered that most of the people you play online are actually one sort of flavor? I'm just saying. Skill progression and huh? Economic adventures, expensive. Yeah, this guy keeps giving me content longevity. What? How do you write it? Longevity? Whatever the word is. What the fuck, dude? Collaborative learning. Scrap the high bar. Yeah, this guy is baiting. This guy is rich baiting writing this. Thank you. There's only one response to the article, and the guy just says no. Thank you, Arijit Dasgupta. Thank you very much for the response. I thought Medium is a. Oh, it's an opinion site. Yeah, it's an opinion site. I thought it was like a news site or something, so I was like, what? Looks like you ran into the first source you need to tear down. Some people get into economy on false pretense. That's what peer review is for, and you're the peer. Be the hero, be. This is just an opinion online. This is not part of the Miguel Sicard book, so I don't. Yeah, it obviously won't be peer reviewed because it's an online opinion. So yeah. Let's see. There we go. Multiplayer games. Multiplayer games, on the other hand, tend to fall short. Yeah, tend to fall short on the narrative or fictional side, and focus much more on two classic forms of multiplayer game design: cooperation versus competition. What is interesting about multiplayer games is not the story or the world, but how the story or that world foster either of these basic elements of gameplay experience. Yeah, it wasn't something Miguel write. It was like an opinion I find while I was trying to search the statistic of whether or not there are more multiplayer games than single player games, which apparently that statistic doesn't exist. And I found that article while I was like browsing online and was curious about it. And yeah, it's just a slop rage bait. Is someone calling my name? Sorry, BRB. Nope, never mind, I was hallucinating. Let's see, single player game are mostly of the outcome of simulation, possibilities of computers applied to the creation of semi-intelligent autonomous agents. Miguel book is well written. I could say that. Well written. Well, it's well written in the academic sense, but it's hard to understand stuff. So yeah, that can be used to wrap and enhance particular mode of player interaction with the game world. Mul dot. Thank you. Have you ever gotten deja vus? Yeah, deja vus are very interesting. I've gotten. I think I've. That's the thing about deja vus. You cannot really ever sure if you get it right. Like, have I experienced this before? It's kind of a weird situation. So maybe, maybe not. I think maybe I have. I'm not sure what a smell hallucination is. That sounds terrifying. Tend to fall short on the narrative or fictional side and focus much more on two classic forms of multiplayer games: competition versus cooperation. Is it? Cooperation versus competition. Cooperation versus competition. Huh, interesting. Competition. What is interesting about multiplayer games is not the story or the world, but how that story or the world foster either of its basic elements of gameplay experience. Okay? Such as how it fosters the cooperation versus competition. What's the justification of this cooperation? What's the justification of this competition? How the story and wait, let me read. How the story and the world pushes that cooperation. Yeah, interesting. Think about multiplayer games. It's not a story for the world, but how that story or that world foster either of these basic elements of gameplay experience. It is not my intention to write about an ontology of multiplayer games as opposed to single-player games, despite the obvious interest of that subject. Interesting. It is not my intention to write about an ontology of multiplayer games as opposed to single-player games, despite the obvious interest of that subject. My goal is to analyze a multiplayer game in the light of the ethical theory I have presented. So Miguel aren't going to talk about the differentiation between multiplayer games and single-player games a lot here. So opposed to single-player games. My goal is to analyze a multiplayer game in the light of the ethical theory I have presented, with the intention of introducing some of the key elements that need to be taken into consideration when analyzing and perhaps even designing the ethical modalities of play in a multiplayer game. My focus is on games where more than one agent plays in non-persistent world. Non-persistent world. Interesting. Wait. My goal is to analyze a multiplayer game in the light of the theory I presented. Yes. With the intention of some of the elements. My focus is on games where more than one agent, multiplayer games, plays in non-persistent world. Non-persistent because multiplayer games typically fall into the what's the word? Arcade? Arcade? What do you call it? Arcade type, arcade something, which is like there are no non-persistent world. You can just load into the match, get out of the match, load into the match, and keep repeating that cycle, which is usually what multiplayer game does. I'm not sure if the term is arcade. That's the term I personally use. But there are some multiplayer games with a persistent world. You could say, what's the definition of persistent world? Like, for example, Legend of Zelda. Why is it persistent? Like, you can delete the save file and then restart the whole game, right? What makes it persistent then? Probably the definition of persistent here means that, mm, hell, actually, is it persistent? Like, if you finish the game, you cannot like explore the rest of the world and everything. So, Where's the persistency there? I guess if you like define, let's see. I guess if you define persistent as more persistence, then there are indeed some multiplayer games that are more persistent. Like, uh, for example, some war games, like strategy war games, which usually is horrible, but they are an example of a much more persistent world, I think. Like, Clash of Clans, they have a persistent world and usually took years to play, and like those are persistent worlds, right? Unless I'm wrong, I'm not sure. Like, here's the problem. Miguel typically says non-persistent, persistent, all these type of terms, but it's sometimes hard to understand what's the clear definition he's talking about. And like, hey, isn't that non-persistent? Like, you can claim that this is persistent, you can claim that that is non-persistent, but so it's quite confusing a little. I wouldn't say it's a buzzword, actually. No, it's not a buzzword. It No, it's not a marketing term. That what? Okay, that no, that's what? How do I describe it? That's just too out of reach, actually. So let's see. Focus. Now it makes sense in philosophy. What do you mean it doesn't make sense? Question mark? Some games and one agent plays in non-persistent. What? It makes sense. What do you mean? What do you mean? It doesn't make sense. It's just marketing, and it's but no question mark. It makes sense. Hello, and persistent worlds. So well, let's see. Are games in persistent world? What? Because every video game is programmed based on a cycle. Hmm? Yeah, no, I don't get it. Games in persistent world. Even if it Even it's the simplest terminal-based text game, there are still two states. Yes, I think either one state or two states. I think so. It can be persistent. We are talking about the world, though. But okay, what times? Wait, shit, I forgot. Seems like DEF CON. Also, Age of Empires, Civilization, Guitar Hero, or Dance Dance Revolution (DDR). What is interesting about this game is not their online persistent world, but non-persistent world. Wait, so they do have a wait? What? It's not their own. But how compositions are experienced by multiple engines simultaneously? Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Spelling ignore. Thank you. Oh, no, you can stay. It's fine. What's interesting about this games is not their online persistent world, but how gameplay sessions are experienced by multiple agents simultaneously. My case study will be DEFCON, an independent multiplayer game developed by Introversion Software and launched to critical acclaim in 2006. Before introducing the game, I would like to add that DEFCON, as opposed to the other two main case studies I'm presenting, is a game developed with a low budget by a small team and with different publisher-developer relations than the other two mainstream titles. Some could argue that the design decisions I will analyze here as ethical choices may have been a consequence of these production constraints. Wait, what's the production constraint again? Low budget, small team, different publisher. Okay, cool. Design decisions analyzed here as ethical choice may have been a consequence of these production constraints. Nevertheless, any game that tackles the slightly controversial topic of worldwide nuclear war is making itself a target for ethical scrutiny. They can use sound and graphic design pretty efficiently, though. Yeah, it does. Never, Nevertheless, a game that. Do I hear a door? I think I hear a door being opened. Sorry, BRB game. No, I'm waiting for someone to arrive home. So that's why I was like, hmm, hmm. They should be arriving in like few hours. I'm not sure if they'll be arriving soon or a little bit later. So that's why I was like, keep checking. Studying DEFCON. Was it production constraints? Nevertheless, any game that tackles the slightly controversial topic of worldwide nuclear war is making itself a target for ethical scrutiny, and as such, my analysis of DEFCON as an ethical experience is validated. Okay, clear. Slightly controversial topic. Anyone who has seen the classic 1983 film War Games will understand how to play DEF CON. The player is presented with a vector graphics representation of the globe, and the sun immediately cue depiction of an underground nuclear silo. A doomsday refuge in the advent of nuclear war. The game is played like a classic real-time strategy game. Yes. Players are given a territory and a number of units they have to manage while trying to eliminate most of their opponents. The difference is that DEF CON simulates nuclear war, and as such is a If I do a small let's play in the next 2 weeks, would you take a look? Sure. Question mark? Depends if I have the time or not, actually. The difference is that DEF CON simulates nuclear war, and as such is a rather radical... Wait, what? Oh yeah. The difference is that DEF CON simulates nuclear war, and as such is a rather radical game. There's no victory, only degree of defeat. The game world is there to be destroyed. Cities will not produce units, and their populations are the mere statistic that generate meaningful strategies. Playing DEF CON is engaging in a dehumanized simulation of nuclear war where the goal is to lose the least. Yeah, I have a lot of people like sending me stuff, but I didn't get a chance to like see it at all because I was like already booking other shits and things, and I was like, bruh. I still haven't read a 9 hour. I still haven't watched the 9 hour videos that a friend sent me. I still haven't read a Centaur fanfic that another friend sent me. I still haven't played any of the games that my friend has made for the last few months. A lot of shit. Yeah, so I'm like, fuck, man. Only degrees of defeat. The game world is there to be. Wait, I don't need to read that. Yeah. The game world is there to be destroyed. Cities will not produce units, and everyone's are the mere statistic that determine right medical studies. Playing DEF CON is engaging. Okay. The basic DEF CON gameplay places the player as the commander of a specific territory with a population of 100 million and a number of military resources that needs to be deployed. There can be up to 6 other players in the game competing for the best strategies of setting their attack and defense elements in place for the unavoidable conflict. The game goes through a number of states named after different DEF CON codes. DEF CON 5 and 4 allows for the positioning of units, but not for attacks. Nuclear or otherwise. DEF CON 3 and 2 allows for conventional combat, but not nuclear weapons. DEF CON 1 signals the last stage of the game where nuclear missiles can be launched and where the fate of the game is sealed. Is decided. Okay. Depending on the game type, the score is calculated on the basis of the number of population units that have survived and the numbers of death. Sorry. Death. Yeah, that's how you say death, but how do you say death? With an S. I'm fighting for my life right now. Yeah. Hmm? How do you say that? Yeah, I'm waiting. Oh, death. Wait, no? Deaths. Deaths. I think DEF CON was made to demonstrate how much nuclear warfare is based on the dumbass game theory. What? What dumbass game theory? Was made how nuclear warfare was made to demonstrate how much is based on the. Huh? I think DEF CON was made to demonstrate how much nuclear warfare is based on the dumbass game theory. Like the channel with MatPat in it? Yeah, didn't MadPat retire? Oh yeah, MadPat retire. Oh, okay, that's so sad. Depending on the game type, the score is calculated on the basis of the number of populations that have survived and the number of mega deaths or mil death. I can say death, but not death. 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 Question mark. Deaths. Deaths. Okay. Deaths. Deaths. Okay. Wait, I'm fighting for my life right now. What the fuck, dude? Wait, no, Game Theory is still uploading. What do you mean? Oh, it's MadPat that's retiring. So the channel is still running. You know what? Yeah, figure. Like, other people are still uploading. Why am I fighting for my life here? Let's see. Deaths. 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 Okay. Deaths. So, mega deaths. Deaths. Okay. I think I get it? Shit. That's a horrible death. The number of megadeaths or deaths or million population units eliminated by each player. The score is the result of the balance between these two numbers. In other words, the winner is not always who kills the most, but also who loses the least. The prisoner problem? Which one? Panopticon? What are we talking about? Which prisoner problem? There's a lot of prisoner problem. Prisoner's dilemma? Prisoners, what? 100 prisoners problem? The infinite monkey? Let's see. The prisoner's dilemma. So I think it's this one. Right, and the dilemma arises from the fact that while defending Rand Corporation. Where have I heard the word Rand? Oh yeah, Rand. Okay, cool. Infinite. I think I've seen this one somewhere, huh? Why are they using this stupid emoji? Oh my fucking god. Uh, where? Where's my huh? Wait, what's this one for? Oh, cool. I can use this one. Where's the? But they should just implement like the cropping filter to like the 5 0, yes, 0, 100, 130, 140, yeah. I should just implement the thing for it. I definitely gotta go. Sorry, bye. No problem. Bye. What's this? What is this emoji? What are they show? What? Yeah, this is how I show my personal dilemma. These, yeah, I know this one. They put like two prisoners and like, hey, we can each other confess or not. Right? Interesting. That's called the prisoner dilemma. Alright then. A stays silent, B stays silent, they're both in prison. A stays silent, B testifies. Smiley face. In prison, shh. Testify. If both testifies, they're fucked. That's so fun. What fuck am I looking at? This is who's uploading this? Can I see who? Yeah, I can see who uploaded this, right? By shout out to CM Glee for uploading this. This is the perfect example of prisoner's dilemma, right? There we go. What's personal dilemma again? Cooperation yields a higher payoff for each. Okay, but from what I see from the emoji, instead of like cooperation cooperating with each other helping, I think one person cooperating and the other not cooperating seems to be actually yielding so much more better. I'm not sure about you, buddy. Oh, they're using number. Okay, they're using number shits. So if both stay silent, they get 1 year in prison. If one person testifies, then they get 0 years in prison, and the other get 3 years in prison. The other, same with if the other does the same. But if both testifies, they both get 2 years in prison. Okay, you know what? This is fucking stupid, dude. I love this image. Save it. I'm gonna save it. Who decided to upload this? I love it. Oh yeah, let's see Femboy. Sorry, I'm checking Femboy Wikipedia page. There we go. I'm checking it right now because the image of like the image for Femboy Wikipedia page used to be Finster apparently. I was like learned that recently, and then Finster got replaced in the second place now, and like it's just so funny. Oh man, okay then. That's so funny. Finster fell off from the token Femboy representation, crying and shaking. See this depending on the game, the type of scores calculate. Oh my god, deaths. In other words, the winner is not always who kills the Yep. An interesting design choice, to which I will return later on, is the possibility of making alliance. Wait, I'm gonna share this like prisoner's dilemma thing to like my to my friend because it's hilarious. We is this in the fucking that's so funny. There we go. I'm sending it to enough friends for now. I'm gonna continue later sending it to them. Since they've players can create alliances between them, which grants them access to their allies' radar unit, which in turn allows for a more detailed vision of the environment. Since DEFCON also uses the classic strategy game mechanic of the fog of war, or the inability of players to see beyond their territory, okay, to share radars. But there can only be one winner. Alliances are always broken at some stage in DEFCON. Cool, I like that. Creating an interesting tension between players wish for maximized information on their rivals, and the dependency on what they know is going to be a broken alliance at some moment. The social dynamics that emerge from these contradicting mechanics are also relevant for understanding the ethic of DEFCON and of multiplayer games. Social dynamics emerge from this. Okay. Relevance for understanding the ethics of DEFCON and of multiplayer games. DEFCON can be a game of patience, of tactical psychology, waiting for other players to make a move and predicting what that move will be so that it can be countered. Okay. Patience of tactical psychology. That's not how you are psychology. Thank you for correcting that for me. Waiting for other players to make a move and predicting what that move will be so that it can be countered. Yippee! No. I don't want to open Steam. There. There we go. Sorry, I'm just replying to someone. Whose song is that? Oh, that's Little Nas, yeah. I think it's Industry Baby, right? I love it, Little Nas song. It's really cool. Let's see. Did I mute? Yeah, I mute to desktop audio. I don't want to get blessed. I forget to. I forget to. Sorry, if a song is just too fast or something speaks too fast, I'm just like my brain resets and I cannot really speak. I can't speak. It's just like I'm just baffled at everything. I forget that I set my speed of like videos to like 2.5. Is it? Yeah, I think it's this. Right. Wait, is this Nightcore? No, this is Nightcore enough. Wait, I think this one speed up, right? Yeah, the speed up one is good. I also like the other song. Which shit? I just bumped my computer. Montero, yeah, I like Montero and Industry Baby. Those are both are so good. Let's see. I was talking about DEFCON and counter and everything. Social dynamics. This is a game that puts player in an isolated environment, but with the knowledge that there are other humans there in front of similar maps, plotting similar strategies to get rid of the enemies. Well, are they plotting the similar strategy? Isolated. But with the knowledge that there are other humans there in front of similar maps, plotting similar strategies. Wait, actually, this is not based on Personal Dilemma because Prisoner Dilemma like it was mentioned that just hey, is DEF CON based on Prisoner? No, I don't think so, because Prisoner Dilemma involves like multiple outcomes that is possible. This game only have one outcome. Everyone dies, and one person survive. I think, at least, or everyone just die. Either one of that. To get rid of the enemies. To get rid of it. The sense of isolation dehumanizes the other player. Ooh, spicy. Isolation dehumanize the other players. But as players, we know that they are human agents. This tension between how the game, between how the game is played and how we understand it, is in Miguel's opinion. Miguel's opinion crucial to understand the depth of DEF CON's ethical gameplay. You know what? I should probably start. I can start watching documentary. Can I? Like watch together? No, I cannot. A lot of the commentaries are graphics, so I don't think I can show it in stream. Actually, yeah. I mean, I was like thinking, hey, it would be such a great idea to stream documentaries. Not. Let's continue. Sorry. Okay. Gameplay. But for now, it's supposed to say that the game, in its artificial design, cues the player to think as if inserted in a bunker environment. Ooh, interesting. Suffice to say that the game, in its audiovisual design, cues the player to think as if inserted in a bunker environment, isolated from humanity, in a place where population, poopy butthole, sorry, are piss, are just numbers that can be adjusted. Have you all taken your piss geography? No, I will not say sorry. In a place where population and units are just numbers that can be adjusted, modified, and deleted. Deleted. The reception for this independent game was quite positive. Independent game. It's interesting that the term was independent game. Turns into indie games, which turns into indie games more later on, because like people were just like independent games, and then it turns into indie games. Like the evolution, no, not evolution. Is it evolution? Is that word they used in Shit, is it etymology? Fuck, my brain's not functioning. It's etymology, right? Yeah, it's etymology. Progression? Oh, okay, yeah, they say the study of origin and evolution of words, so it is evolution. Phew. I was like afraid. I was like, isn't the wrong terms for it? When games aren't doing the games, you evolve. Evolve. Sorry. It was quite positive, and many reviewers actually noticed a certain degree of ethical thinking in design of gameplay. Defcon is a shining example of the independent game industry, a well-made, original, independently produced title that brings some new experience to a well-made, original, independently produced title. What is indie game? What defines the game as an independent game? Is Die for the Dave an independent game? Dave to Die for, not Die for the Dave. Yeah, because people are like arguing whether or not a Dave to Die for is an indie game. And people says no, it's not. And I actually agree with that because, let's see, because it was developed by, let's see, there's a whole argument here. Dave the Diver being nominated for Best Indie Game? Question mark? Despite being backed by a major player in the game industry such as Nexon. So, like, come on. Indie games, we need to support indie studios, especially people without the backing of a huge corporation, so... Nexon. That's so funny. Oh wow, this is such a beautiful indie game. It looks like it has been developed with such a lot of budget. No, dude, it's not an indie game. You could say it multiple factor from funding and then the people who developed it and shits like that. You need to see at multiple factors and then you can say whether or not it's an indie games. But mostly indie games have the sense of creating a games to be played by people instead of being played by consumers. You can see that a lot. The reception for this independent game was quite positive, and many reviewers actually noticed a certain degree of ethical thinking in the design of the gameplay. Defcon is a shining example of the independent game industry, a well-made, original, independently produced title that can bring some new experience to players by means of cleverly manipulating genre conventions. The genre conventions. This net say that all good independent games are ethically relevant. In Defcon is interesting because its innovation, its essential mechanics, and score systems are ethically interesting. Are ethically relevant. But why is Defcon so relevant, so interesting for an ethicist? First of all, it is a game about the ultimate war, about the annihilation of the human race by means of atomic weaponry. And it is fun to play. Hey, Miguel. But beyond its topic, DEFCON is interesting for the game experience it creates around it, the feeling of isolation, the calculation of mega deaths, and victory, the ultimate tension between detachment and attachment to the game world. All these elements configure a ludic experience of enormous relevance. Enormous relevance. I'm just gonna write it. First of all, this game about the ultimate war, about the annihilation of the human race by means my 2-in-1 gray shampoo just fell suddenly. Yeah, it's a 2-in-1 gray shampoo. It's disgusting. I think it's disgusting. I'm not sure. Atomic weaponry. Never speak to me with any 2-in-1 shits or more 3-in-1, especially. I'm terrified of it. And it's fun to play. Cool. But beyond its topic, DEFCON, so we are not only talking about the topic of the game, but I think I just heard the open, so I'll be right back. Am I going crazy? I'm waiting for someone to arrive home, so I was like, continue like looking around to see whether or not people actually come home. So I was like, hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, let's go initially. DEFCON is what? Interesting. For the game experience, it creates around it the feeling of isolation. The game experience that creates calculations of Megadeth and victory. The feeling of being being what do you call it? Oh, a war criminal? Yeah, you could say that. The ultimate tension between detachment and attachment to the game world. All these elements. Where's war criminal? What? Okay, they're supposed to be separated. All these elements configure a ludic experience of enormous relevance. In Afghan, players are learning how to maximize their nuclear strike to annihilate as much of the enemy population as possible without suffering severe loss in the game's inevitable outcome. This calculation is part of a process of reflection on the meaning of the game world and it appeals to players both as subjects in the game and as ethical citizens. Wait, let me check. DEFCON 1, 2, 3. There's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5 and 4 allows for positioning. 3 and 2 conventional combat. 1 is the nuclear strike. Cool. Launch detected. That's there. I need to watch a gameplay of like DEFCON. DEFCON, sorry. It should just be called DEFCON. I'm not gonna lie. Instead of DEFCON. To have DEFCON design choices requires cynical analysis. The alliance system and the calculation of victory based on the number of losses in population. Yay. And also the inevitable, the inevitable loneliness of victory. Like there's only one player winning. But I guess that's related to the alliance system. Okay, so alright then. Choices require ethical analysis. The alliance system and the calculation of victory based on the number of losses in population and how much you kill, of course, but more so the number of population you survive. So there's an ethical affordances there being afforded, right? You surviving is so much more better than killing, I guess. There we go. That's an ethical affordances. The alliance system regulates the behaviors of and relation between agent and the game system, and as such is primary interest for the understanding of the ethic of DEFCON people. It's of primary interest for the understanding of the ethics of DEFCON. The winning condition rule, on the other hand, brings forth the more direct implication of game designers in the value system of the game they develop and how they are projected. Bring forth the more direct implication of game designers in the value system of the game they develop and how they are projected in specific games. Oh, okay. Brings forth the more direct implication of game designers in the value systems of the games they develop and how they are projected into a specific game experience. DEFCON is also interesting because it is a multi-agent environment that pits moral agents against each other under the agreed and sanctioned rules of the game. Okay. Multi-agent environment that pits moral agents against each other under the agreed and sanctioned rules of a game. Following the mechanics, okay? Section. Sanction? Sanction? Sanction. Okay, instead. Sanction. Sanction rules of it. Why do I write so horribly? The game following the following the mechanics afforded to them by designers. Multiplayer games are ethically important because they are designed mediators of player interactions. And since both the design and the agents are ethically relevant, the way they affect each other are of extreme relevance for understanding the particular ethics of a game experience. Yeah, that's why multiplayer games are ethically important because they are basically a system designed to allow interactions within players, and those interactions will have ethical affordances, which makes it interesting. Following the mechanics afforded to them by the signers. Wait, no. Fucking hell. That's not the thing that I'm supposed to write. And since both the design and the agents are ethically relevant, the agents, the players, will always be ethically relevant. The ways they affect each other are of extreme relevance for understanding the particular ethics of a game experience. In this chapter, I'm going to analyze the alliance system and the winning condition design in DEFCON. They will both illustrate aspects to take into consideration when describing the ethic of multiplayer games. Wait, I'm gonna open Monster Hunter now because I want to take a little break and just like study a little. Not study a little. Chill a little by opening Monster Hunter now. I really wish I have like a way to stream it. Ah! It makes sounds terrifying. Okay, it's working. Let's see. Ooh, it's a Diablos. Oh, Diablos. Oh shit, I bring the wrong weapon. I'm gonna die. But the Diablos is so terrifying, dude. Actually, the gun is like good enough because like light bowgun is so easy to move around. Except it doesn't have any defense capabilities, and you can get fucked if you're not careful enough. Oh shit! Shit! I didn't even realize that was possible. I'm fucking dead. Escape from the hunt. Now I need to use my medications. Yippee! It's bad. Yeah, light bowgun is strong, but at the same time, meh. It deals less damage, of course, but much more versatile in the sense that it can move around better compared to heavy bow guns, which usually deals more damage because there's more ammo, but just like you don't have much ability to run. Run. Where are you going? What the hell? I didn't even know you could do that. Shh. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Run! What you gonna do? Okay. Sorry, I'm fighting for my life right now. I'm not seeing chat. If there's chat. My health! Oh god, I'm not winning. Oh fuck, I keep forgetting that they can do that. They can like smash their fucking what do you call it? Tail around. Okay, just run away then. I wish I have better armor. I keep getting two-shotted or one-shotted, and it's not good because medications are scarce, and basically I'm fucked. Yes, light bowgun. Okay, cool. We'll wait. None of those hit. Run, run. Okay, cool. God, this is fucking frustrating. I'm so lost. I'm so losing. I'm so losing actually. I need a better weapon. I either need a better weapon or a better strategy. Holy hell, strong. This is my last medicine. Let's see if a heavy bowgun will do. I was considering like a light bowgun because I get a mission to use the light bowgun, but at the same time, if it doesn't do anything much, I wouldn't use it then. Shit! Oh, I got one shot at. Holy hell! I get fucking one shot. That's fucking disgusting. Please, please. Oh my. Run! Run! Oh, of course, I'm lost to Black Diablos. And I lost all my medicines for today. Excelente. I hate this game. I don't know. How do I get one shot at Monster Hunter now? Speed runs? Just to get good? Okay, thanks. Go of the experience. The step rank in the line system and the winning condition design in DEFCON, they will both illustrate aspects to take into consideration when describing the ethic of multiplayer games, since they cover the way the agents relate to the game world and to other agents in it. See? The way how we relate to the game world and the other people. Mm-hmm. Aspects to take into consideration when describing the ethics of multiplayer game, since they cover the way agents relate to the game world and to other agents in it. At CIS. Yes, that's the ethic of CIS people. At CIS. My reflection will be based on DEFCON, but they will apply to multiplayer games in general, except those played in persistent worlds, which I will analyze in the next chapter. Hmm? Except those plays. Ah, except those. So there is a multiplayer game with a persistent world. Alright. General. Except those played Persistent errors. With a redundant system, in Defcon we have plurality of agents competing for resources. In this case, space with limited time and opposing goals. There can only be one winner, so the dimension of space and deployment of units that allow for massive strikes and defensive network crucial. These processes are troubled by the player lacks of absolute information, the visibility of the map is rather limited, and choices have to be made in light of this limitation. Unless, of course, players engage in alliances. Alliances are useful because they allow players to have a wider perspective on the playing field, sharing the radar visibility with other players in the same alliance. Alliances also have their own private chat channel. This benefit makes it a tactical advantage to establish alliance. Yeah, so two people can date each other in the private channel, of course. But alliances, as I have already pointed out, are counterbalanced by the fact that there can only be one winner, regardless of the alliances established during the game. Both alliances and the winning conditions shows the developer's special interest in creating a type of design experience based on the equilibrium between information and mistrust, a balance crucial for understanding the historical balance of power during the Cold War, elegantly simulated by Chris Crawford in the classic game Balance of Power. Okay, both alliances. Balance of Power. Let's see. Chris Crawford. It's a game? It is a game. It's a game about Cold War in 1985. Wait, it's a book? Is it a game or a book? It's a book game. No, it's a game. It is a game. Oh, it's an old game. Okay, interesting. Creating a type of design experience based on the equilibrium between information and mistrust. A balance crucial for understanding the historical balance of power during the Cold War. Elegantly simulated by Chris Crawford in the classic game balance of power. From an ethical point of view, any multiplayer game designer will have the challenge of managing the presence of a number of moral agents in their game world. Yeah, that's the problem, especially with horror games, as I said. How do you create a scary experience for horror games when everyone becomes a Joker in the game? Number 1, probably just removes the ability to talk at all. That'll be terrifying, right? The challenge is twofold. On one hand, player needs to be a respected aesthetical agent capable of reflecting. On the other hand, developer have to ensure that whatever loading experience they set out to create with the game is present when players interact with their game. Is present when players interact with their game, and that this experience is closing the conceptual loop, respectful to that. I'm not sure what the letter means. As ethical agents, this is the most important part, honestly, of like a lot of games. Actually, respecting players as an being that can think as an ethical being instead of like just a consumer, which you'll see a lot in stuff. I want to pee. Sorry, I want to pee real bad. Capable of reflecting on the meaning of their actions and how they treat other agents in the game experience. On the other hand, developers have to ensure that whatever ludic experience they set out to create with that game is present. With that game is present, yes, when such as present when players interact. The ludic experience needs to be present, and that this, if the ludic experience doesn't get presented and badly designed, yeah, okay, yeah, I can understand. You know, closing the conceptual loop. Conceptual loop. Closing the conceptual loop. Respectful, ethical being of players. So first, of course, the design needs to respect the ethical being of player as ethical agents. And second, the design experience needs to actually able to show that ethical experience. If not, well, it sucks then. F1 achieves the goal of creating a compelling moral experience with a combination of two mechanics, showing a way of both respecting and imposing on them via system design. A specific behavior that will lead to desired successful ethical experience. I'm adjusting my chair. Feels horrible. Respecting players and imposing on them via system design a specific behavior that will lead to desired successful ethical experiences. Players have to consider ethical agency respected by allowing them a great degree of freedom in the selection of strategies, especially in the game experience. Players can enact their values to a certain extent in the game experience, being collaborative or secretive, remaining individualist, helping other players, or directly conspiring against others. This degree of enhanced agency allows player. I full stated stretch. Sorry. Allow for the player deep moral engagement with the game world. We could argue that multiplayer games that want to introduce ethical gameplay as part of ludic experience need to design the patterns of interaction between players, allowing them to enact their own values. While ethical gameplay, okay. Need to design the patterns of interaction between players, allowing them to enact their own values. While getting the way these values can be used in the game world. Fascinating. Phasmophobia? No. Atlas Trial? No. No? No. Atlas Trial, no. Dead by Daylight actually has it? So, interesting. So yeah, I'm just like seeing. I'm just seeing some stuff. We could argue that in multiplayer games that once introduced cycle gameplay is for while getting to which these spells can be used in the game world. Okay. So need to respect better players, but mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I was talking about that bit earlier. It is a guide ethical experience, which I there's an attempt. Is it successful? No. I guess not. There can only be one winner. I could say no. Actually, they could end up in a draw, but yeah, they're good. So yeah, there's no two winner. There can only be one winner, but there's tension between killers and survivors, obviously. But the most interesting aspect is the survivors working each other to achieve the goals, especially by the hip design system and perks and the way the developer tries to design the system and perks to be like depends based on how many people escapes and stuff like that, which is okay. Still horrible design sometimes, but okay. Successful ethical experience. In a system that manages simultaneous a part of different ethical agents, it is necessary to think about this mode of interactions in ethical ways. What types of ethical issues are going to arise and how can players solve them without direct intervention of the system designers? Player can self-manage abusive alliance in DEFCON since there's no rule that says that there cannot be massive alliance against one player. In a sense, the game empowers players to reflect. Wait, what? About their own actions to others during game experience, which is a desired outcome of any multiplayer game that want to create an ethical. Player can self-manage abusive alliance since there's no rule that states that there cannot be a massive alliance against one player. Miguel, I think that's just that's just bad design actually. Oh yeah, there's no rule against creating a giant alliance to bully one person. I mean, fair, but also, hey, what? Question mark? I'm so confused, dude. Rise. And how can players solve them without a direct intervention of the system designers? Players, what do you mean can self-manage? Self-manage abusive alliances in DEFCON. Since there is no rule that states that there cannot be massive alliances. Alliance, yeah, against one player. How? No, this is not empowering. This is just empowers players to reflect about their own actions to other. This is what I call a bad design. Like this, is like saying, I don't know. This is like saying like I think this is like saying when you play Dead by Daylight, you as a killer can select all the 4 survivors. You win basically, but it's horrible for all the survivors. Of course, it's a terrible experience. However, it becomes an ethical reflection. Oh yeah, it's possible to do that, but would you do that? Would you become an asshole to do that? Yeah, I think that's just horrible design instead of like. Yeah, you know what? I did say that unethical design could create a ludic experience and ethical reflection. So yeah, fair, I guess. Which is I'm just gonna read this. I think this is just horrible design. Yeah, I don't know. For DEFCON, yeah, okay. For DEFCON, it's fine actually. There are some games that are fine, maybe. I'm sure. Ethical experience is nevertheless created by the design system of rules. In the case of DEF CON, the relative openness to ethical agency of players in the game world is limited by the presence of a strong design constraint. There can only be one winner. While players are respected ethically, the developers created a very intense ethical experience by ultimately turning that freedom against their own. You know what? Maybe it's not a horrible design, but I could bring that by daylight here. That's the Legion. In a sense, the game is supporting. While players are respected ethically, the developer created a very intense ethical experience by ultimately turning that freedom against their own intention as players. Winning the game means to survive the strongest alliance and to break them at some moment. In this sense, the game is supporting a type of behavior that can have interesting ethical interpretation by players. DEF CON once, by design, to spiral down a storm of broken alliances and treason, only to mimic by means of design the insane last moments before nuclear dawn. Multiplayer games construct their ethical system by means of modifying the behavior of the agents in the world through the use of game rules and game mechanics. The balance between the freedom of ethical agency provided by this and the constraints. Sorry, wait. Balance between the agents. Okay. Through the use of game rules and the balance within freedom and ethical agency provided by this and the concern dictated by the winning condition and state of the game are crucial to understanding the ethic of any multiplayer game. In DEF CON, the ethical experience is created by conflicting interests in terms of ethical player agency and the game system and state. There can be alliances but only one winner. This type of tensions, which are created by means of alternatively manipulating the players' intentions of cooperating and of conflicting by means of game design, can create relevant multiplayer ethical experiences, forcing us to reflect on what we have to do, just like the Payday Light. Right now, yes, like you score higher points by helping others, but the design says that, hey, you need to escape alone, basically, in order to win. So, yeah. Sorry, I was yawning. There are ethical design choices that make DEF CON relevant and send certain moral multiplayer gameplay is its understanding of the score system. As stated, DEF CON is a game about nuclear war from an ethical standpoint. Okay. From an ethical standpoint, nuclear war is absolutely evil. It not only indiscriminately massacres by the thousands, it also ruins the environment for future generations. And yet, for many years, nuclear warfare was considered a part of the legitimate arsenal of Cold War superpowers, and the world lived under the shadow of a war that would, this time around, end all wars. There's still a war that's happening. Not war, genocide that's happening in Gaza. Free Palestine. I hope like Palestine can be free in my time. The absolute nature of nuclear wars modeled in DEF CON by means of its scoring system. Conventionally, the winner of any game is that who wins the most points. There are exceptions to this rule, but in general, what's the exception? I need to know. But in general, most games have correlation between number of points and declaration of the win. Okay, for other games. Okay, I think it's just DEF CON. In DEF CON, playing in the default. What's the exception? I want to know actually. No? Okay then. In DEFCON, playing in the default scoring mode, player win by committing mega deaths, but also by avoiding them. As a matter of fact, player who suffers severe losses, no matter how well they perform their attack, will lose. That's an ethical affordances, okay? Because like, hey, it's saying basically, hey, surviving is better than being a genocidal, genocidal, genocidal maniac. Okay. No, will lose. In survivor scoring mode, players have to lose the least in order to win, no matter how well they perform in their offensive mode. And this reflects an ethical affordances in the game design. Nuclear war is always lost. Survivor scoring mode. Wait. I'm very good at computer games are design system for interaction that can have embedded values. Some of these values, as an example of the amnesia killer in 13, are experienced as a clumsy interference in the ethical agency of players. In fact, it is not easy to create a game that is ethically relevant by means of design, while encouraging its user to think and experience the values they play by. It's not easy to create a game that is ethically relevant by means of design, so it's hard to make a game that has ethical affordances in the rules, while also encouraging the user to think. In DEFCON, this balance is created precisely because it is a multiplayer game and the focus is not on the. I'm just checking the pages. There's still a lot of pages. Oh, no, never mind. Those. Definitely on the narrative within the game world, but on the dynamics of interaction between players. Wait, what? Focus is not on the narrative. This is not to say that it is not possible to create an ethical multiplayer game with strong narrative, but interesting moral gameplay in this game takes place not in the way the story unfolds, but in the way players relate to each other through the system. Thus the importance of looking at the game design. DEFCON clearly manipulate all conventions concerning victory conditions by changing the meaning of the final score and turning victory into a measurement of defeat. Ooh. There's a game developed by an indie dev. Let's see. Fuck, I forgot the title. Sorry, let me check. It is by someone. I'm recommending their games, by the way. It's very interesting. I think it's interesting. It was developed by Lucas Cavana. Yeah. Lucas Cavana, which developed, I'm pretty sure it was Lucas Cavana, and unless I'm wrong, which I'm usually wrong, so I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. It's wait, is it not by Lucas Cavana? Oh fuck! Oh no, it is by Lucas Cavana. It's called War, and you're basically a simulator of a nuclear weapon, and then you like hit targets, and then the more you play, the more you realize that the number is like the number of people you've killed, and it's just and it keeps saying like, yeah, I'm just targeting the civilians, just targeting the no, sorry, that's a Freudian slip. They're just targeting the military, not targeting the civilians at all. A kaboom goes by, all the civilians die. In the measurement of defeat. Of course, this is meaning within the semantic of the game world, but this argument is designed to represent the ethical fabric of players. Has choice within the semantic of the game world, that is arguably designed to resonate in the ethical fabric of players. Their actions, their strategies, everything they do are for this. How do you write strategies? Everything done in the course of the game session is oriented to the extermination of their rivals, population while still keeping your own population. And in fact, it's highlighted precisely by the scoring system. Any score is an evaluation by the system of player behavior, but it's also an enticement for player to influence the behavior following the rules of the game and to play the game again. Pinball machines, with their scores of the million, have largely set the trend in scoring design, encourage players to earn as many points as possible and grade them not with 10 but with 10,000 points. DEFCON modifies this rhetoric with an ethical approach. Yeah, the more scores you get. Players are encouraged to score by the millions, actually, by millions of population kills. And not only that, but in 2 out of 3 game modes, players are also punished for allowing their own millions to be annihilated. What is relevant is both the fact that the winner is not who scores the most, but who loses the least. And also semantic layer added the notion of points. These are not abstract points, but population, a metaphor enhanced by the design of the user interface and the game world. Players own product and destroy cities with population of millions, thus populations are their scores. Of course, I'm lost again. Of course, that can be played ignoring this metaphor, and it still holds a cleverly designed multiplayer strategy game. But playing it that way is ignoring one of the reasons why this game is fundamental example of multiplayer moral gameplay. DEFCON does not appeal to the passive button machine player, but also to the ethical player who will play and win, but still reflect on and be affected by the experience of the game. And that player is appealed. I mean, they are appalled as well, I guess. Appealed to by the combination of game world design and game design. By the way, the rules and mechanics are wrapped in intense metaphor directly targeted at the thinking player. Multiplayer games have to be analyzed as ethical objects and experience, keeping in mind that these are multi-agent systems who are not work of responsibility, unlike single-player games. It's not a process exclusive to the developer system, the system and the player. In multiplayer game, there's also an element of player-to-player relations that need to be taken into consideration. Player-to-player relations that needs to be considered. The way the player relates to each other, the ways they compete, and how they determine the validity of their actions in the game world. In case of multiplayer games, though, the weight of the design and the ethical experience is of extreme relevance. The weight of design. I'm just saying it. It is by means of design that we relate to others during game experience, and so they shape at least partially our moral agency in the game world. Of course, game design is a large task, and not all of it can be ethically relevant for multiplayer games. As I have argued using the example of DEFCON, there are 3 elements that need to be taken into consideration when analyzing the ethics of a multiplayer game design. The winning condition, the player-to-player specific mechanics, and the way the game world coherently reflects those mechanics. 3 elements. Ethics of multiplayer game design. The winning condition, the player-to-player specific mechanics, and the way the game world coherently reflects those mechanics. In DEFCON, the rule that says that the winner is the one who loses the least, the system conditioned by a single winner, and the aesthetic of nuclear war was a desynthesized experience all configured the game ethics. In any other multiplayer game, starting with the analysis with these elements is the first step for the description of its ethic as projected by an object or more players. So, yeah, we need to use this for multiplayer games. This doesn't mean that players will blindly follow whatever instruction, goals, and mechanics that the game affords them. Yeah? Players ought to be empowered users who can reject some strategies or actions that the game provides if they feel they are contrary to their values as player or as human beings, but this ethical empowerment has to be understood in connection to the importance of behavior design in multiplayer games. Players will create their ethical values in the game experience oriented by the game design, and that can have a strong influence in the actual ethics of the game as experienced by ethical agents. In this process, the importance of player interaction design is crucial. I'm trying to understand this. Ah, interesting. Will create their ethical values in the game experience oriented by the game design, and that can have strong ethical influence, influence in the actual ethics of the game as experienced by ethical agents. In this process, the importance of player interaction design is crucial and much more determinant than single-player games. Okay. What is player interaction design again? Sorry? Like with each other? What do you mean? And much more determinant than a single player or even than in online worlds. Since in multiplayer games, there are no persistent communities. Communities. At least not with power and presence in the game world. There we go. That what it means by a persistent, what do you call it? Persistent, whatever persistent you use it for. You know, Defcon is a rare gem, a comedy game that feels and plays a rather complex experience, a combination of the accelerating features of multiplayer games coupled with the depth of reflection traditionally only present in other media. Despite some of its shortcomings, especially in terms of usability, for all its aesthetic, Defcon is a rather complicated game to learn to play. Dead by Daylight. This is a very interesting ethical computer game. It does not try to teach or educate its player and never renounce the goal of creating fun, but it does so by appealing to our rational ethical minds. Defcon is a multiplayer experience that makes us, its player, face our own values and thoughts. We are alone in this world. In this world? In its world, I guess. And the other are just blips in an impersonal depictions of a possible world. Many computer games are about exploration of words, of narratives, or of human relations in a sense of competition. Why am I speaking like that? Sorry. Defcon as multiplayer game is a game mostly about exploring our own values as legal agents, while we push a button and the screen electronically inform us that New York is gone, and we have scored another 5 million deaths. What else laconically? Scored another 5 million people killed. Not just death, but killed. What is laconically? And we are entering World of Warcraft and the ethics of online game worlds. In a way that uses very few words. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream right here, right now, because I forget to share the stream in my my server. Oh god, uh, I have no defense. I have no defense. Well, thank you all for attending. So see you all later then.